Hey, look at that. First try. No errors. All system goes. I'm seeing green everywhere. Hello everyone. Welcome to another stream. And no hiccups this time. First try. We're live. So, first thing on the agenda today, we're jumping right in. It's the problem that I had last week. I don't know if you were able to see my Discord server where I posted the solution. Basically, if you're not aware, last time we were live, we had this problem with on the doctor's panel. We already have people on the channel. Unknown. I can't see from here. Hold on. Unknown Sinner. Hey, how you doing? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thank you for joining the stream. I'm doing good, thank you. So, yeah, last week we had this problem where in the doctor's panel, you are not supposed to see pets that are not in your clinic. And that was working for the resource list, where you see the list of pets. Not so much for the drop-down where you are creating or updating appointments. So that drop-down was still showing pets that didn't belong to the current clinic. And I tried to solve that last stream right at the end. But I couldn't because I was doing the right thing in the wrong place. Basically, I created a middleware which was filtering or applying a global scope for the pet so that it only shows records for the current clinic. And then I had to apply that to the panel configuration. Problem was that I was doing that in the middleware section of the panel configuration, but there is another section that I think was introduced in recent versions where it's a section called tenant middleware, and I'll show you what I mean. This is the list that we have for today, but let me show you the solution for last week's problem. So as I mentioned, I have a middleware which is in app http middleware as apply tenant scopes. And this is the final version of that scope where I have the pet model, and then I'm adding a global scope where I'm saying query where has clinics. Basically, this line here says just give me the pets that have clinics, or that there are clinics in the relationship. But on that same relationship, clinics, I'm querying that, or I'm scoping that down to where the clinic ID it's equal to the current tenant ID, which is the current clinic. So it's only going to give me the pets that have clinics, and those clinics IDs are equal, or that clinic ID is equal to the current clinic. So that's the scope. Then to apply this, you go to app, providers, filament, doctor panel provider, and I was adding that here in this middleware. Problem with this is that when you call filament get current tenant on this, if the middleware is in this array, the result of calling filament get current tenant or get tenant is null. So you don't get a tenant when the middleware is in this array. Instead, you have to add it. And did I do it actually? I don't think I have done it. Apparently, no, here it is. Yeah. This line right here, tenant middleware. This is where you apply middleware that requires you to access the current tenant in the middleware. So with this, it does work. So when you call, when you make a call to filament get tenant, in this case, you do get a result. And the problem with last week was that even though this returns null, accessing the ID was not throwing any exceptions. So the only thing that I was seeing is that I still got the pets that didn't belong to the clinic in the dropdown. So I couldn't see the error. It wasn't until I checked the log file that I realized that this was a problem. But yeah, that was the error from last week. As soon as you do this, create this middleware, and then assign it in the doctor panel in the tenant middleware section. And also you make it persistent so that it persists in the session. Then if we quickly go to appointments here, the pet, it's not longer showing because all three appointments were for a pet that didn't belong to this clinic. So this pet is no longer here. So what we should do is create a new pet that does belong to this clinic so that we can then reassign those appointments. So let's do that real quick. We have a select get options, string return. Okay, we have a small error in the options for the pet, I'm assuming. Let's go and check that out. Close this too. And let's open appointment resource on the doctor. And I'm using the relationship. I'm still using the relationship here. Slot ID, is this the problem? Why is it saying that it's returning a string? That's interesting. Select get options. Appointment pet, it's returning a string. That's really interesting. Let me just, instead of using relationship, let me use options real quick just to make sure that that's not the problem. It's still the problem. Oh, the problem is in apply tenant scopes apparently. Apply tenant scopes. That's weird. Hold on. I'm pretty sure I had this solved and now I'm seeing an error that wasn't here before. Let me just... Let's go back to that apply tenant scopes middleware. Real quick, I'm going to move this to its own variable. So clinic equals filament get tenant. Just so I can debug this real quick. And then I'm going to do dd clinic. So yeah, it's giving me a clinic, all right. The clinic ID. Yeah, that's fine. So it's the problem is not here. This is functioning all right. We're getting a clinic, we're getting a clinic ID, and we are filtering by that. Problem is in the select, I don't know why. Let me get these two lines. Well, now that I have a variable, let's just use it here. That's okay. Still getting this error though. Appointment resource. I don't need this anymore. Does it solve if I remove the middleware from the panel? Let me just check. Doctor panel provider, and let's briefly remove this from here and refresh. No, that's not it. So the problem is somewhere else. So it's not that. It's not the middleware. It's not the tenant scope. It's not the configuration. It's not the middleware. Something in the appointment resource is causing this problem, and I'm not seeing it. Doctor. Hello Ephraim, how you doing? I'm just debugging some stuff here right at the beginning, since I'm seeing an error that I wasn't getting before. So I'm just quickly solving that before we can move on. I wish I know. Oh, okay. So this is a different place. Now we're getting a different error. Select options, return value must be an array. This is a different scope. Apply global scopes for schedule and appointment. Oh, this is in pets create. I'm looking at the wrong resource. Hold on. I have to go to the doctor's pet resource. Is it because okay, maybe I'm just missing. Yeah, this is the problem. I think I copied this last week and I forgot. And I don't have this class imported, so this is an enum class, but right now it's just giving me a string, and since I don't have it imported, do I have it imported? I don't, right? If I do this, there it is, and that should solve it. Am I right? Belaura, how you doing? I just took it a moment to just read. I do have problems sometimes reading names, and I mix letters back and forth, so I had to, especially vowels. So Belaura, I hope I'm saying your name right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining the stream. I'm just getting some problems out of the way before we can move on. With that class imported, we should be good to go. Okay, yeah. I was looking at the wrong place there. I was creating a pet, and I was looking at the appointment resource. Vitali, wait, hold on. I hope I'm saying this right. Vitali, thank you for joining the stream and thank you for being here. And Romulo, thank you for being here, my friend. Thank you everyone for being on the stream. Thank you for supporting this. I really appreciate it. And I hope everyone is having a great day today. So let's create a new pet. Briefly, I'm going to go find a pet picture. I have a few in the desktop. Let's create one for Whiskers. And he's a cat and no owner currently. So let's just create that. Okay, so now last week we had appointments for Rufus, which was not part of the pet clinic Salt Lake City. Now we have Whiskers, which does belong to this clinic, and the resource only shows him, so that works. Now we hope we go back to appointments, and I think I disabled this. Hold on, let me re-enable it. See how this pet does not belong to this clinic, and I am still able to see his name here, and that shouldn't happen. That's because I think I disabled the tenant middleware here in the panel configuration. But as soon as I re-enable that, his name should disappear, and it does, because again, he doesn't belong to this clinic. Now, if I go into edit, this table is kind of big though. Do I need to know the clinic on the table? I don't. And neither the doctor though. Well, maybe the clinic. No, not the clinic. Well, appointments. I'm a doctor and I can only see my own appointments, so there is no need for the doctor column. But as a doctor, I can work in different clinics. So I'm not sure if I should leave the clinic column. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm just going to remove the doctor column real quick, because that is redundant. Doctor name, gone. That should give me more space. That looks better. Okay, now if we go into edit that appointment, there's going to be a slight problem here because that ID is for the pet that doesn't exist. So I only get the value and there is no options for it. So I'm okay with that. But as soon as I click here, I can see the pets that belong to this clinic. And I can reassign this and save the changes. And now the name comes back. Let me do that for all of them. And we're good to go. I think that solves the everything from the appointments and the pets for the doctor panel. And now I think I can move on to the next item in the agenda. So this is done, doctor's pet resource. And what else? So I do want to, I'm going to add a few suggested features to the doctor's appointment resource, and probably some of them are going to be replicated on the admin resource as well. But the one thing I'm most eager to do is I do want to move briefly away from the backend side of the system, like the admin panel side. I want to move on to the client or the owner side, because right now we only have admin and doctor panels. I do want to move on to the owner. But for the owner, I had this idea that maybe we should create the owner experience without using the filament panels. We might end up using filament elements like tables and forms, but I thought that maybe we could, instead of doing it all in panels, we can create a small project, maybe within this same one, but adding Laravel Breeze. Create a small Laravel Breeze section, still with authentication. Maybe some of the routes won't have authentication until you get to book an appointment, for example. But I do want to showcase creating a filament, not a filament, a Laravel Breeze project where you can incorporate Livewire, and maybe we can also use Vault, and also incorporating pieces of filament into that project without having to use the admin panels package. And that will give you an idea of how to use filament in your own projects that are in a tall stack without having to use the admin panels as a whole. So I do want to move on to that next week, probably, if we manage to get all of this done. And I think we should. I mean, we're going to start with user avatars, because I do want to showcase or show the doctor's profile picture. You can add icon button method to actions to save even more space. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you. In the table, you mean? Right here? Yeah. I do want to keep the confirm and cancel labels. And I might end up just removing the clinic. I don't know if I'm a doctor and I have appointments on a different clinic, I don't think they're going to show up here. So the clinic column, it's kind of not useful. So I might just end up removing that column, and that'll give me a lot of space. I'm a advocate for readability on UI. Sometimes icons don't express the functionality that they represent, and so it's kind of, sometimes it might be confusing. I'm always for not even having icons. I know icons are pretty, but sometimes if I can have icons and text, but I always go for the text as well, just because I want the UI to be readable to whoever is using it, and not having to guess, oh, this icon, what does that mean? I mean, maybe the little pencil and the square is not clear enough for someone to know that that is an edit action. So it's always good to have the labels as well. So let's take care of user avatars. For that, I'm going to reference the documentation. Oh, we should send a tweet. Actually, I had it ready here and I forgot about it. Let's just post that. And let's go to the Filament documentation. God, that website is pretty. And I think if we find or look for avatars, setting up user avatars. And if you didn't know, Filament uses UI avatars by default. That's how you get these letters here for your avatar. Instead of a picture, you get this JD, or the initials from the name. And I think I apologize for what I'm about to do, just to make it more clear. So close your eyes. See, this is the avatar, but instead of that, you get the initials. So what I want to do is show a picture here of the currently logged in user. So according to the documentation, Filament uses UI avatars by default. However, if the user model has an avatar URL attribute, that will be used instead. And since we already have some work done on uploading pictures to pets, I think we can very quickly use that to upload a picture for the user. And then in the user model, we need to include this has avatar contract. And also return this function, or use this function to get the avatar URL. Okay. First thing we need is we need to add a column to the database. I'm going to do this here. PHP artisan, make migration. Update users table, add avatar URL column. And then use table users just to scaffold the blueprint callback function. That should do it. Okay. Now let's go back to VS Code. Spati Media Library. I've heard of that. Yes. Maybe I should have done that from the beginning, but since the system was not entirely focused on media, like media gallery or a portfolio, or I don't know, a website where you showcase courses, where you need files to be showcased. Since that was not the focus of the project, I probably feel like the media library would be like a little bit of overkill. But yeah, I've heard of Spati Media Library package, and Spati has packages for everything, it seems. But thank you for the suggestion. It's a really good package. Let's edit that migration. So update appointment users table. Let's add one column here. So table. This will be a string column, I believe. String avatar URL. And we have to make it nullable. Down here, let's drop that column. Now let's run that migration. And now we need to add that to the table and to the form in the user's resource. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm always please say hi whenever you're here. I always appreciate seeing people in chat and saying hi. Siddhar, how you doing, my friend? Thank you for being considerate, but don't worry about it. Just say hi whenever you feel to. Do you know if you call the migration ending on plural model name, like PHP artisan make migration? Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you. So if I call PHP artisan make migration add avatar to users, I don't have to type the model. That's good to know. Or just being verbose, like add avatar to users. So that will be transformed into snake case, I assume. That's interesting. Thank you. We always learn new things. Let's go to the user resource. And let's add the column first of all. Columns. This will be an image column. Avatar URL. This will be rounded. And rounded apparently is deprecated now. Oh, now it's circular. Circular, and what else? I think that's it. Oh, we need to add something to the user model, right? User, we need the, what was it? Has avatar. And with has avatar, now we have to implement the get filament avatar URL function. Let's do that down here. Public function get avatar URL. No, get filament avatar URL. And we need to return this avatar URL. Oh, we need to return, I said. Okay, back to the user resource. We have the column. Now let's add the column, the form input field. So forms, components. File, upload, make avatar URL, and this is an image. That should do it. All right, let's give that a try. Let's move on to the admin panel, because that's the only place where you can edit users. Right, thank you. Thank you. We need to add avatar URL to the fillable array. All right, so we have the column. Let's change the label. I don't like avatar URL. Let's change that to just avatar. And let's see. Let's start with John Doe. Edit. We have the field. And I think I previously, before the stream, I downloaded a couple of pictures for the doctors. So let's say John Doe, this is you. Open. And then save changes. Okay, that was easy, right? Now Jane Doe. This is your picture. Save changes. And that's working. Now for the admin. Now as soon as I add the picture for the admin, this here in this corner should change to whatever picture I'm adding. And for this case, I'm gonna use mine since I'm the admin. Let me get my picture real quick. 1 second. All right, so I put this here. And then save. Okay, that's saved. Huh. It's not showing. I see the link there, but the picture, what's going on with the picture? Oh, I'm here. It works here, but not up here. That's interesting. Let me check. So if let me inspect this code real quick. Looks like it's using a background image URL. And I think I know what the problem is. See how the URL is using just the picture name with a bunch of characters? Those are just random characters generated when I upload the picture so that there are no conflicts with names, but it's just using the picture. And if I inspect the same image here, yeah, right here is using the full URL, including the storage folder, which is where the picture is at. So I'm guessing if I come here and I change this, come on, let me do it. There you go. If I change the URL and I include the storage folder, I know this might be a little small, but all I'm doing is just adding the storage folder to the URL. And that didn't work. Maybe without the /. How is it that it's working here and not here? That's strange. Okay, maybe it's just the browser that is not updating correctly. I think I know where to solve this. Should be in here, in the function that we added to the user. Storage, I already did that, actually. Thank you. In fact, just to show you, I do have in the public folder, there is the storage folder right there, and that was created using storage link. And that's what's confusing, because without storage link, the pictures on the table should not show. But they are showing. The one that is not working is the one in the avatar picture in the corner. And to get that, Filament is using this function. So let's see if I can just... Let me just wrap this in double quotes and then include storage in the URL. Now, and this goes here. There you go. So yeah, I was doing it in the inspector of the browser, but that wasn't refreshing. Now it's working. Cool. So yeah, the problem was that the picture on the corner was not including the folder where the picture was at, just the picture name, which was being returned in this get filament avatar URL function. Adding the storage folder solves the problem. And now if we move on to the doctor panel, and logged in as John Doe, log in as, come on. Yeah, it's working here as well, and we see the picture in the dashboard even. Awesome. All right, that takes care of user images. That was quick. Doctor's profile page. I'm not gonna do this right now. It's gonna take way too much, way too long, to be honest. And it's just it'll be just another page for the user, for the doctor to edit its own. Well, maybe I should do it because that will demonstrate custom pages. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? See, just so you know, I'm more interested in adding features that will teach something about Filament other than having the panel or the product to be production ready, if that's even a term. So yeah, I'm more focused on showcasing things from Filament than having a complete ready for production feature complete admin panel. And since the doctor profile does showcase something that we haven't done before, then we should go ahead and do it. For that, let's create a new page. So PHP artisan make filament page. And let's call it doctor profile or profile. Let's call it profile. Profile. I don't remember if you have to add the model to this. Let me just briefly glance at the documentation for pages. So PHP artisan make filament page settings. Already doing that. Doesn't say anything about the model. I guess. Okay, so if you hit enter here, the reason we don't have to worry about the model with pages that live inside a resource, because it's going to ask me, profile, do you need a resource for this? And yes, we do. Well, no, actually we don't. So we do need to worry about the model. So if the custom page that you add is going to live within a resource, then the resource already has a model. But if it's a custom page that does not live in a resource because we want this page to be its own thing, then we probably have to set up the model in a moment. We do need to specify which panel, and this is for the doctor panel. And that not only creates a page, but it also creates a navigation item. I'm going to sort that to put it down below. Do I even want to show it in the menu? I probably just want it in the in the user menu. I don't think I need it here in the navigation. Let's see. First thing, let's take a look at the page. So that page should have been created in resources, not resources. App, Filament, Doctor, Pages, Profile. And it seems to be very simple. We just have a navigation icon and a view. And it only extends page. We probably should include a form. Yeah, let's do that because we do need a form to edit the profile. So we do need to include the filament forms in this page. So let's move to form builder. Getting started. And this is what I'm looking for. In order to add a form, we need to add this contract to the page. And just so you know, a filament page is nothing but a filament page is nothing but a full page livewire component. So this applies. Hey Virgil, thank you for being here. Thank you for always supporting. I'm joining for I think 30 minutes. Thank you. Thank you so much. And good luck on your trip. The Jid, hi man, how you doing? My day is going great. Thank you for asking. How is yours doing? How is your day going? I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm always happy to see you guys here, by the way. I hope you know that, and I thank you for being a consistent face during probably most of my live stream, which at this point we've been doing 9 live streams at this point. 9, that's 10 weeks. And the fact that you guys are always here every single week, I really appreciate that and I thank you for it. It takes more time on adding custom pages, custom widgets, using custom livewire components in pages. Forms, filters. Is Radu, hello, thank you. Hello from Romania. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining the stream. I hope you're doing great. cricket match. India versus Australia. I hope India wins. Nothing against Australia, but I'm rooting for India. Belora, is that a question, by the way? I mean, are you asking if it takes more time than creating a custom page? I don't necessarily think it takes more time. And in fact, maybe I should... the thing that I'm doing, it's basically the same thing if you had a Livewire component, not a filament page. Because again, a filament page, it's nothing but a full page Livewire component. So if I do this, for example, let's implement the has forms. And doing that, we also need the interacts with forms trait. So let's add that. And I think the page already has that. Let me check. The page has routes. Nope, it doesn't. Has sub navigation. Interacts with header actions. So we need the interacts with forms trait. Ooh, I just made a mess. Okay, so with that, this would have been the same process. Awesome. Congratulations, man. This would have been the same process as adding filament forms to a Livewire component. And if we follow the documentation, we need this function just to fill the form. Okay, setting a form model. There you go. Giving the form access to a model is useful for a few reasons. Yeah, we probably know that. The form can load and save model relationships automatically. If you have an edit post form, in this case will be an edit profile or an edit user. If it has repeaters, it's gonna associate that with the relationship. It's gonna obey validation rules. And all you have to do apparently is just, okay, so here it is. When you are setting the schema for the form, all you need is set this to the post. Or you can do it this way, just with a class. What I'm curious is, whenever I visit this page, I'm going to need a parameter in the route to do a, what is it called? Route model binding. I'm curious to know if that's going to work here. Let me quickly go back to the panels documentation. See if there's something regarding pages. Pages. Creating a page. We did that. Adding actions. Header actions. Refreshing form data. Emit. That'll be for events. I don't know if that's gonna work in this case. What I need to know basically is just I probably just need to add a route, not in the resource, but I'm going to need an action. And that action is going to live in the user menu and probably in the URL. I just need to know, well, I have a navigation item already to go to the page. I just customizing the page URL maybe. I'm just trying to find anything that says how to pass in a route model binding into the page. Maybe in custom pages here. This is when the page belongs to a resource. In which case, we would add a route to the resource. That's not what I'm looking for here. Maybe I'm just looking in the wrong place. Maybe this is more something that has to do with Livewire and not Filament. Andres Dualo has created a nice plugin to implement multi-tenancy and edit company settings and edit user profile just like Jetstream. Oh, interesting. Is this a plugin for Filament? I think I've heard of it. Hold on, I'm going to check the Livewire documentation. Because this sounds like something that has to do with Filament instead of Livewire instead of Filament. Public title, public function mount, title equals null, this title equals title. Yeah, what you're referring there is for when you're passing in attributes to a full page component or a component. If you put in an attribute to a component, it's going to be passed in the mount or even just being set. And that's what I don't remember. Let me just URL query parameters. Here it is. Livewire allows you to store component properties in the URL query string. Is that something? User search this search get. Come on. I'm almost there. Hold on. So this refers to a query parameter in the string. Is there nothing about route model binding? There it is. Using route model binding in full page components. So if you add this and then you have a show post class. Oh, okay. So yeah, you were right. Abdul Majid. I hope I'm saying that right. You were right to point it out in the mount function. Yeah, you were totally right. So all I need is a public field with the model, and then in the mount, I'm going to receive that from the URL. Okay, so in this profile page, I'm going to have a public user. I'm going to call this doctor. I'm worried if I override the mount, I'm going to override something. So I'm going to check the page. See if there is a mount here somewhere. There isn't. But the page extends a base page, making sure that there is not a mount anywhere. There isn't. And then this is an abstract class that extends component, which would be a livewire component. So there is no mount, and I hope I'm not overriding anything here. So let's do public function mount. And since I'm going to use route model binding, then I'm expecting a user here. And just to be consistent with other Livewire pages, I'm going to use record. Then I can say this doctor. Let's just name it record as well. Thank you, Virgil. The link to Discord is in the chat. It's pinned at the top. If you want to check out my Discord server, and if you are not a member yet, consider clicking on the link and joining. So this using this should give me. Now, where do I put the route? Filament is already taking care of that. How do I modify the route or the URL? That's in the documentation. Public post. Yeah. Instead of post, I'm using public user because the documentation referred to it as post in the example. But what I need is the user model, which is the doctor information. So I need the user model to be able to modify that in the form that I'm going to create just briefly. Hello, Sean. Sorry, Pon. I'm creating a doctor's profile page. I just finished adding pictures to the doctors or to the users, and now I'm creating a custom page to modify the doctors, to allow doctors to modify their profiles, basically. So I just created a Filament custom page, and I'm adding the model to it. I'm going to use route model binding, and now I need to know how to add the parameter to the route. And I believe there was something in pages here. Creating a page, adding widgets, customizing the page title. customizing the page navigation label and the page URL. By default, Filament will automatically generate a URL slug for your page based on its name. I don't know if the slug is what I'm looking for. See, okay, so if I go back to let's go back to here. We have a link, and oh, it's already passing the tenant in the URL, but I need to add the current user, currently logged in user. Well, do I? This is for the user, for the doctor. All I need to do is grab the auth. Yeah, I'm a dummy. I don't need the user record. I don't need to use route model binding. All I need to do is grab the user. Well, let's do it in the mount. Basically, I don't need this. All I need to do is say filament auth user. That's it. Because the user is the currently logged in user, the currently logged in doctor, and all I need to do is put that in record, and then the form is going to abide to that record. Is it though? I already forgot. So let's go to form builder, and then here, setting a form model. Okay, so yeah, now we need to start getting, and we need the public function form to get the form schema. Maybe you can reference the form reference from form builder with library component in filament docs. Oh, is that for the thing that I was trying to do? Yeah, Virgil, thank you. I should look at chat more often. I'm using filament auth instead of just auth because if for some reason the auth guard changes, Filament won't be aware of that. Let's say, for example, you want to change the table or the model for the authentication. At some point, you want to say, I'm not going to use the user's table anymore. I'm going to use some other table. Then you would have to create another auth guard, and then tell Filament about it. I think if you use Filament auth, then that will facilitate the process. Or I might be wrong. Thing is, whenever I'm in Filament and working with Filament, I always use Filament auth instead of just the default auth. Fawn, yes, I'm in that page. Thank you, Fawn. But yeah, the only thing that I have to do, I already have the user record here. I'm setting that to the currently logged in user. And then I'm going to create a form function in here. public function form, which receives a form. Livewire, not livewire, filament forms form. And then you return that form. And then here is where you create the form schema. Let's test it. For the doctor, let's start with the name. First of all, let's set the model for it, which is this record. And then let's define the schema. And let's add a text field form, text input field. So forms, I'm going to import, it's already there, forms, components. Maybe I need to re-index intelligence so I get suggestions. Because I already have filament forms here, that should have the components. Just to make sure, I'm going to check maybe appointment resource. It's just filament forms. What are you yelling about? Oh, this. Thank you. Now what? Method add filament doctor. The method form is not compatible with filament pages page form. Really? It's already there. What are you complaining about? Did it add? Yeah, it probably add this. This is for filament pages page. Is this? Okay, Virgil. Have a great day. Thank you for being here. I have to return a form. That's what it is. Okay. Now let's use filament forms. So now here I can do forms, components, text input, make. This will be for the name. Make it required. That's weird. I just saw Virgil chat appear again. Maybe you deleted it. I don't know. Deja vu. Something like that. Got me confused. Did I travel back in time? Alright, so we have this text input here just to test it out. And let's go back to here. And let's travel to this profile. It doesn't have a table. It doesn't have anything though. Oh, that's right. So we have the schema here, but we also need to go to the template. And I'll check the chat in a minute. Just give me a second, guys. So this page has a template in Filament Doctor's Pages profile. So if we navigate to Resources, Views, Filament Doctor Pages profile, it's pretty much empty. So to display the form, we need to do this form, I believe. Let me double check. So, see, adding the form. We need to do this. Remind me again to do that. Let's do it right away. So we need to fill the form right away. So we go back here, and in the mount, we set the record, and then we do form fill. That should do it. Oh. Wait. Am I just going around in a very long tangent when you can just do panel profile? Wow. Filament serving function, serving, callback function, register, user menu items, account. Okay, that right there will be to add a link to the user menu item. Continuation, URL, user resource, get URL, edit. Wow, really? So am I doing all of this for nothing? Huh. All right. Can't hurt to try. So, if I understand correctly, see, this is sometimes you think you know something and you don't. Should I just delete the page that I just made? I would rather see the form implemented manually first, though. Well, we can do it both ways. Now that I have this already in play in transit, so yeah, I'm gonna make a note for this. So I'm gonna copy this from the chat, just so I don't forget. Doctor profile. Let's add it here. That was weird. What are you doing? Oh my god, stop. Okay, let's try this again. Makes a block. Paste here. Why are you not working? Oh my god. Sometimes technology is against me. Let's do it down here. Yeah, I know. It's actually really good. I like it. I like the simplicity of it. Sometimes it's a little finicky, but that's probably my fault. So I'm gonna make a note for this, and I'm gonna grab the rest of it. I'm gonna make a change to that probably. And then you just chain profile in the panel. Okay, so I'm going to do that. But first I'm going to show how to add a form to a page, because that does not only apply to filament pages, it also applies to Livewire full page components. So let's do that first, and then we can come back and just do it this way so that we have both ways and we can learn to do it both ways. So if I just do this form, so I'm right now in the template for the filament page. The node app is Obsidian. It's called Obsidian. It's just a markdown node app. And it's free. So that's not the way. Hold on. Too few arguments. Okay, so it's not a function, it's just a... It's not a function in the template, it's just the property. All right, so we do have a form being displayed. It's not filling it though. There is no data here. Why would that be? Maybe something about the state? Yeah. Maybe not. So mount public array data interacts with forms. I should do it because I'm setting, well, maybe I have to set state data. Okay, it should do it because I'm telling the form that the model is this record, and this record is equal to the current user. And now I have to set state path. Yeah, that's correct. So let's do that. So I am going to need this though, public array data, because that's going to be the state for the form. And then use state path in the form schema, like so. What else? I'm calling field amount. I'm setting the state in the form schema. I'm not doing anything here still. And then there's the render. Let's see if at least we can see the username in the form now. And still can't. Why not? Thinking we're going in circles because yeah, there is a command for us already to do this, and I think I'm doing some things wrong. So let me just undo what I just did. Okay, let's do it the right way, because if I keep going in circles, I'm just going to confuse you guys. So let me just delete the things that I just created. And let's do it one more time. So going to delete the template, the page itself. And let's try that again. But this time, I'm going to use the CLI command, which is make livewire form products edit product / edit. It's going to be something similar to this. And I probably should have just used a user resource here. Let's give this a try. So if I do PHP artisan make livewire form, let's put it in doctors. Let me see, doctor, filament, doctor. Profile. We do edit. Filament is also able to generate forms for a specific eloquent model. These are more powerful as they will automatically save the data in the form for you. Ensure the form fields are properly configured to access the model. when you're calling fill, we'll state path, I think, scroll down to initializing the form with data, use filament pages out, edit profile as base edit profile class, edit profile extends base edit profile. There's already a edit profile page. You know what? Let's try this. App filament. No. App providers. Filament doctor panel provider. Profile. What is that going to do? Orvo no found, of course, because there is nothing there. Okay. It is kind of what I was looking for. The only thing that I don't like is the fact that I don't have the navigation on the side, but I can live with that. Here you can edit your information like name, email, password. We still need the image though. And just like we did with I think we already did something similar with filament pages. Was it? We created a registration, a custom registration page. Yes, totally agree. And let me see. Yeah, I can customize the menu item with this code, right? What I'm trying to do is, and I'll definitely, well, hold on. Serving function, register user menus, account, make menu item, make your profile. Well, I don't. This is for customizing the menu item, which I don't think I need to do. If I click cancel here, when you click here, you already have the profile link at the top, and I don't think I need to change that for now. What I do need is to customize the registration page. And we already did this for... Did we do it? I remember setting a custom page for registration. I don't remember if it was for doctors or for owners. Let me go and check real quick. Was it in the owner panel provider? Middleware? Nope. Doctor. Password reset. No, not here. I can redirect to the user edit page. So this one. Problem is that this one is found on the admin panel provider, and the doctor should not be able to access it. So if I wanted to create this edit page on the doctor panel provider, I'll have to create a new page. So I think I'm happy with just having this link here for the profile, which is what the intention was. So this is the recommended usage when you want to have a profile edit page in Filament. The only thing I want to do now is change this form to add a new input so that the doctor can change his picture. And I believe there is already documentation for customizing the registration page. Let me go and look for that. And we can do exactly the same for the registration, the profile page. Let me go and I think it's in Panel Builder. Custom pages, no. Pages. Configuration maybe. Oh, here it is. Customizing the authentication features. If you'd like, but how to get more control over this page? Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. See how in the panel I just use profile without a class or a page class. If you do that, you get the default page class. But I think you can just create your own page and just extend from the base page, which I think was one of the comments in the chat. And then you can customize it even more. So here you have to create a page in pages out edit profile.php. So let's do that real quick. And then here you can edit or extend from the base edit profile page like so, and add new fields and just add the current ones with the get name, get email, get password, etc. So I'm going to copy this code here. And you can do this with not just with the profile page, you can do it with the login page, the user registration page for new users, email verification, password, reset form, etc. So yeah, I'm gonna copy this. Sorry for the long tangent there. I totally forgot that we could do this. Fairly easy. So copy that and then create app filament pages out. Let me go here. So app filament pages, new folder. auth, and then edit profile, new file, edit profile.php, paste the code in. We have a text input, we have form, we are importing the edit profile page from Filament Pages auth edit profile, and we're calling that base edit profile, and our own edit profile class is extending from that. We're overriding the form just to make sure that we can add more fields to it. In our case, I want to add, what was it, a phone number, I think. Let me just double check. Yeah, we want to add a phone number and the profile picture. So this text input, we can move it below the email, like so. Let's make an input for phone, make it required, and then add the tel validation for telephone numbers. And then at the top, you're right, we do this. Actually, I'm gonna copy this, paste it like so. Remove this here, and then use forms, components, text input. The reason I do it like this, by the way, if you have seen me do it, instead of importing just text input or file upload, is that I find it better to just have one use line at the top, and then use all of the components that I need for that folder. If I don't do it like that, it's not that it's not a good way to do it, but if I don't do it like this, then I'll have to have one use line for the text input, one use line for the profile, for the file upload. So I'll have multiple import lines for each of the components that I need, when instead I can just have one import line for the forms folder, and then I can just use the components that I need from that folder. So it makes the import lines shorter, or the import section shorter, and in my opinion, looks better. So now for the file upload, forms, components, file upload, make avatar URL. This is an image, and it's not required. Oh, okay, so we have the page, but now we have to use that page in the panel configuration. So we go back to Doctor Panel Provider. We have the profile function here. Now we just need to use edit profile from app Filament Pages auth. Perfect. So now we have a profile page with the avatar, with the phone, and all of the fields that we need. And Doctor can go in and change his profile picture, his name, email, and anything that regards to the profile. All right. So that was a long way to get to the right way to do it. And maybe when we get to, actually, not maybe, when we get to to the owner panel or to the owner front facing page, then I'm going to create a breeze. As I mentioned before, I'm going to create the UI for the owner will be created using Laravel Breeze with the new Livewire and Bolt stack. At least that's my intention. And then we can also import or make use of Filament elements like the form builder and the table builder, notifications, etc. We can make use of those, but using them without the panels builder. And that's going to be beneficial for you if you want to create Livewire projects using Bolt, using Livewire 3, using Alpine. You can still use Filament without having to be tied up to the panels builder. You can oh, yeah, that's also true. And that's a valid use, but wouldn't that make that line like way bigger? Yeah, I know you can split it into different lines and maybe indent it. And yeah, that's a good way to do it too. The only thing that you would have to be careful of is that when you're using a new component, then you would have to go up and add that component to the line, to the use line. In my personal opinion, I prefer to do it with just the use filament forms and then use the path to the component. But that's a good way to do it too. So we have the profile, right? Let me go and mark it as done. I'm not going to modify the user menu item in this case. I will post that snippet. Sorry, I will grab that snippet and put it in the Discord page under tips and tricks so that people can use that trick if they actually want to modify the user menu item. I'm trying to think if I want to go this route. I do want to showcase, I don't think we have done, what is it called? Relation managers in this project, and I do want to do that. The only thing that I don't want to do is we only have like 40 minutes left, and I don't want to go into a long route and end on a cliffhanger for next week. So maybe we can do something easier for now, and then next week we can add a log for the appointment, and that'll teach us how to do relation managers, because in the appointment page where you edit an appointment, you can have maybe a tab at the top where you can switch between the appointment details and the have a log so that doctors can log information about that appointment on that day, and other doctors can see the logs for the appointment. If a doctor made a log on that appointment, then, but I don't think that'll work though, because doctors can only see their own appointments. Either way, we can have a relation manager. Yes, Amit, I will do, maybe not right now, but when we get to the when we get to the owner panel or the owner front facing page, then I will do more showcasing of custom pages. Actually, one thing that we could do right now is check if we have any errors with PHP Stan. think that'll be a good practice to develop. Now that we have added a lot of features, we should go in and say, first I'm going to format all of my files. So Paint. You don't have Paint? I thought I had an alias for it. Let me double check. Let's see. I think that's on my home folder, and I use all my CSH. So CSHRC. And mine are at the bottom of the page. I have one for sale, for pest, for PHP stan, and I don't have one for Paint. So let's add one. So that's vendor bin Paint. Ooh, that's ugly. Sorry. I forget that you cannot source files in Vim, at least not this one. So I'm going to do it like this. Okay, that's better. Now, if I go back to... no, I'm not running sale. I'm running a simple PHP artisan serve. Let me show you. If I go to the previous... So down here in this panel here, in this split, I'm running PHP artisan serve. I think that's... I haven't done much sale use lately because if I do it like this, it's faster to just pick up and create a new development server. With Laravel Sail, yes, you have everything out of the box, but it does take time to spin up the images, etc. So I find that when I'm working on something and I want to start a development server just quickly, SQLite, PHP artisan serve, and you're up and going. You're up and running. If I feel like I have to work on something long term and I need to have, if I want a project that I know I'm going to work on and going to end up in production, I probably use Sail. But for example projects and for the live stream, I just prefer to use PHP artisan serve to just get everything quick. Oh, that's cool. PHP FM with Nginx. Oh, interesting. Maybe maybe you should create a blog post or something. Put it somewhere, and so everyone knows how to do that. I know I don't know. So where was I? Totally forgot what I was doing. Oh, the alias, right? Jeez, my mind is just... So I have an alias for Paint. So I can come in here and just do Paint. Still not finding it. Okay, let's just try a new terminal like this. There it is. Okay, so bind is running. A lot of changes. Okay, all of my files are correctly formatted. Now I can run php stan. And let's see if we have any errors. Hey, Milen, I didn't see you there. Hi, how you doing? Yeah, bind. I get it. Let's see, we have 2 errors. Well, that's a lot less than I was expecting. So we have first error, line 58, access to an undefined property, eloquent model ID in appointment resource. Let's see what that's about. Appointment resource, line 58. Is that the doctor appointment resource? Yes. So, doctor appointment resource. Line 58. Here. So we're using filament get tenant ID, and it doesn't like it this way because this will return a model class, and a model class does not have an ID. So I think what we can do to avoid that is, even to make it more readable, we can say, I think we already did this somewhere else, but let's say clinic equals filament get tenant. But that's still going to be a model in return. So let's just be explicit and say that. Yeah, just to show you. If I do that, it still doesn't solve the problem. If I just replace this with clinic, if I run it again, it's still going to complain because get tenant is going to return a model still. So instead, what we can say, I think it's add a doc block. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Why are you not doing it? Really? Oh, I know. It's 1/2 asterisk. There you go. So let's say that this clinic, this is a var. And then we use the type, which is app models clinic, and this is the current clinic. Like so. So now PHP stan is going to know, okay, so clinic is it's an instance of the clinic model, and that will have an ID on it. Looks like I added more errors. Oh, I know what this is. You need to add a / before the app models clinic, because if you do it like this, it's going to be relative to the current namespace. Instead, I want to go back to the root namespace and then into the app models namespace. Okay, down to one error. Access, pretty much the same thing, but in this case we are doing it in apply tenant scopes. So let's fix that. Oh, we already use the variable. Now we just need the doc block. Actually, let's copy that from here. Oh, no, not that. Copy and paste. Cool, no errors. That was quick. Considering the amount of things that we have done, that was fairly painless. Okay, I think something quick that we can do is I want to showcase how we can rework some of the code that we have done. And I think I have a to-do somewhere about refactoring or reworking the schedule resource and moving the available slots to the model. Let's go to the schedule resource. Is in the schedule resource. I believe Filament has custom test helpers. Yes, they do. And I think we should dedicate at least an hour, maybe. I don't know if next week will be the time, but we should dedicate some time to showcase testing. I think I've said that in previous weeks, but we're gonna get to that, I promise. I know I had a to-do somewhere. Let me find it. Here it is. So what I want to do, instead of getting the available slots in this modify query using, which is kind of big, let's just move that functionality down to the slots model, maybe. Maybe not like this. Maybe we can create like a scope for the slots to just say slots available and then get. Yeah, that looks better. And then instead of using a relationship, we can just say model. I mean, options. And that will reduce this line a lot to just one line. Let's give it a try. So I'm going to save that and let's go to this slot model class. Let's add a local scope. And it has to be static, if I'm not mistaken, because, well, is it? Let me just glance at the documentation as always. Go to query scopes, and I'm looking for not global, not anonymous, local scopes. Here you go. It's just a public function. Okay, cool. And we get a builder. So just public function scope available. To this we receive a builder class, which is sorry, Illuminate database eloquent builder. And the return of this is void. Yeah. So now we can go to the appointment resource and grab let's grab this whole thing. We are not going to use any variables, but instead we are going to pass those as parameters into the scope function. So let's take this and maybe until there. Okay, copy that, go back to slot and paste here. We don't need to use, well, we do need the doctor. Day of the week, that's just, is that a carbon instance? No, it's just a string. Nope, it's an integer. Int day of the week. Okay, so we need an int day of the week. And we need a clinic ID. Clinic ID will be an int as well. So that we don't have to use get. Instead, we just use clinic ID. Now, does the scope need to return the value? No, it doesn't. Okay. So let's review. The scope will receive the doctor, day of the week, and a clinic ID. And then it's going to query the schedule for the slot, returning those schedules where the clinic ID is equal to clinic ID, day of the week equals to day of the week, and it belongs to the doctor. Because we are the day of the week as an integer is just the number that day of the week represents. So 0 is Sunday, and then 1 is Monday, 2 is Tuesday, 3 is Wednesday, etc. That's how we are looking at it. Do you mean that it feels weird because you are expecting to be a string like Sunday, Monday, etc.? even Carbon defines it like that. All I'm doing with Carbon is I'm getting the day of week, and Carbon returns day of week as an integer. So I'm just using that integer again as a day of the week to specify which day of the week we're at. Okay, I'm glad that's clear. Sorry. So now that we have that scope, I'm going to create a clinic ID here using get. And it shouldn't even be here, because now we don't need a modify query using. The idea here is that we are going to use the options. And in this options function, we can take this 3, put them here. And then we can return. We need slots here. So slot. Do we need slot? Yes. I believe so. So now we can do slot. Maybe not. Maybe just do it like this. Slot. And to available. Oh my god, losing my voice. Here we can pass a doctor, day of the week, and clinic ID. Why don't we just call available for? I think that's more clear. Available for doctor, day of the week, and clinic ID. Where did you see an if? Add if? Maybe you can elaborate a little bit. Clinic ID, get. Let's change the name of the scope here. Seems a little more clear. And let's test it. I'm going to remove this and this. Maybe not. Maybe not this one. Okay. Just the relationship thing. Save that, and let's see if we have errors. I'm expecting at least one error somewhere. And we did this in the admin. Clinic ID empty. Okay, 1 second. Right. Yeah, you're right. What now? Doctors. Go to the admin panel first, and then... There you go. So what you're saying is this clinic ID might be empty when we are in a creating context. No. Well, yeah. I think that'll do it, right? If we don't have a clinic ID, meaning that the get clinic ID will give me a null value, then just return an empty array so that there is no exception. And this slot ID select is going to be hidden if there is no doctor ID, and if there is no doctor ID, that means that was no clinic ID. So we shouldn't even be able to see the input in that case. Let's see if that works. Appointments. See if it works for new appointment. All right, so here we won't be able to see anything until we select a clinic ID here. Oh, wait a second. What if I select a date? Let's say for today. Now we see a doctor. Okay, we won't be able to get a doctor until we select a clinic. And that resets everything. We shouldn't be able to see date either until we select a clinic. I'll fix that. Now we have no doctors for that day of the week. Maybe this one. Yeah. All right. Call to undefined method slot available for. Did I name it wrong? Available. Yes. Typo. I think it is better to use guard to table doctor and customer. I don't follow. Ooh, this is not good. All right. I have to pluck. Well, no. Can do pluck. I have to do get first. And then pluck the formatted time. And ID. So select city for Monday, John Doe. All right, that's working. We successfully refactored that code into the model. So now I can just get rid of this like so. Get rid of the to do. And now it looks a little bit more readable, meaning that I can clearly see that I'm requesting the slots available for the doctor that day of the week and that clinic. I'm getting those records and I'm plucking just the formatted time and the ID. If you had to commercialize this project later in a subscription plan, like what payment package would you use, Cashier or Spark? I don't have an opinion on that because I have used neither. If I had to choose, I'd probably go with Cashier because doesn't that support Stripe? I've used Stripe in the past. So I think Cashier would be my first choice. Let's see if we can go to the appointment resource in the doctors and make this refactor there as well. And then we can end the session there. Doctor appointment resource. And let me copy, not copy. Well, here there is a problem because for, well, maybe not. Let me copy this line here and put it right here. So now the clinic ID, I can move this line from here to here. So the clinic will be the current tenant. In this case, I just have to use clinic ID. The doctor is still the same. Currently logged in user, day of the week. I get it from date. And I don't think we need to check for clinic in this case because there is always going to be a clinic because there is always going to be a tenant. So no need to do a check here. And I can remove this. Let's give it a try. appointments. We try to edit one. We get the slot ID. I really need to change that label. That's in the form. Okay, so nothing fails here. What about if we create an appointment? Select a date, Monday, and it's working. Awesome. So we successfully made a rework. That's great. Makes the code a lot easier to read, and now we can, that's something that we can use anywhere. And any resources that we use where we need to request for available slots. That's also going to be helpful when I implement the owner panel, where the owner is looking for an appointment, and then I need to see the available slots for a doctor and for a clinic, and then this is going to be helpful there too. So one place for you write code once, use it anywhere. Perfect. And yeah, next week we are going to let me mark this as done. We're going to tackle a few more things, few more features. We're going to add a log for appointments so that we can showcase relation managers, and then we are going to add a filter to the appointments table so that we can see how filters work, and then add a few icons for when you are in the schedule. I would like to have a small number in the tabs at the top so that I know which days have available schedules or available slots. And also I would like to see also notification in the navigation items so that in the appointments I can see how many new appointments there are, and that'll be helpful in the UI. So we're going to do that next week. And maybe if we have time, we can start working on the owners panel. So that'll be all for now. Thank you everyone for showing up. I appreciate you. I thank you for being here. If you found this stream helpful, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.